All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do a quick review on photosynthesis before our quest tomorrow. And in case you don't remember what a quest is, it's bigger than a quiz, less than a test. Okay? So our quiz that we had last week was only 10 questions, but I really hit the high points of the light reactions and the dark reactions. This quest tomorrow is going to be more covering all of the material, including the structure of the chloroplast, okay? The structure of the leaf. Are you listening? Okay, chloroplast structure, leaf structure, locations of the reactions, things like that, the overall equation for photosynthesis. I am going to put this video up on my YouTube channel today, so make sure you check that. And then this presentation and another one will be available to you on the School Loop calendar. Okay? Let's get started here. I just have to view this. And it's still showing as a PowerPoint. Sorry, you guys. All right. So throughout this lecture, like in my other lectures, there's a lot of times there are links. This is a little link down at the bottom to a really cheesy photosynthesis rap, but hey, sometimes cheesy is good. Some words that I want us to remember, word parts, prefixes, suffixes, root words that are going to help you to remember what's going on. Photo means what, everybody? Light. Chloro, any clue what that means? Green. Okay, for the name of the organelle, and as well as for the name of the pigment, which is crucial. Now, is chlorophyll the only pigment in leaves? No. Can you think of another pigment in leaves? Carotenoids. I heard it. Carotenoids. What color are the carotenoids? They're orangish. Orangish. Like carrots, carotenoid carrots. Carrots must have a lot of carotenoids. We also have xanthophylls. Xanthophylls. Okay? Phyll means leaf. Stome. Where do you think you find that prefix? Okay, how about in a leaf? Something relating to our unit. Stomata. Okay? So it's the mouth. Why would they call that the mouth of the leaf? Okay, it can open and close, and it takes in the carbon dioxide, okay? And then there are xanthophylls. So the reason why leaves turn colors in the fall, as the light changes in the Earth's trip around the sun, as the angle of the light changes, we get different wavelengths of light coming into the Earth. And at certain points of the year, the wavelengths that favor the chlorophylls A's, B's, and C's, you get that more. And then in the fall, when the sun comes in at a different angle, you don't get as much of those same wavelengths of light. And so the chlorophyll fades, and the carotenoids and the xanthophylls start to show through, and that's why you get the changing of leaves. We don't see that as much here in Southern California. The leaves, yeah, we have a lot of deciduous trees, and the leaves just wither up and dry and fall off on all our sycamores here on campus. But I believe it is, I want to say 16th Street. Oh, what street is it that goes over by the Upland Golf Course? It cuts through, and there's the houses and the Upland Golf Course on either side. I forget what the street is. Maybe Baseline? I don't know. Or 19th, maybe? Okay. So on either side of the street there, they have planted a type of tree called a liquid amber. And liquid ambers turn, the leaves turn these beautiful colors in the fall. So if you want to see that, unless you have to, otherwise you got to go back east. Or maybe up to Portland where my sister lives, giving a shout out to my sister Jamie. Everybody, hello, Jamie. Hi, Jamie. So, as we go back, here's a little quick check, okay? Characteristics of living thing and how these characteristics relate to what we're talking about. Are plants alive? Yeah, plants are alive. It's not, is having feelings a characteristic of life? No, but an ability to respond to your environment and needing to maintain homeostasis is responding to stimuli. So the changing of the color of leaves is a response to stimulus. And there's a relationship between all organisms with each other. You know, Lion King's circle of life. We all need energy to live. All organisms need energy to live. And so what do we call our organisms shown there on the left? What do we call those? They're autotrophs. They're self-feeders. And the ones on the right are heterotrophs. They eat other things. So, why do plants do photosynthesis? For us? For themselves. They need the energy that they make in the glucose molecules. Okay? And what we're talking about here are biochemical pathways. We have a lot of chemistry, and there's a website I'm going to share with you in a little while where it talks about how complicated the biochemistry is for this process. So our overview of photosynthesis. Plants use plants use carbon dioxide and water in the chloroplast to produce glucose and oxygen. Take a look here, though. My question that I want you guys to think about right now is, what's the relationship between photosynthesis and cellular respiration? Okay, what's the relationship between photosynthesis and cellular respiration? They're like the reverse of each other, exactly. Okay? Now, here's a trick question. Do plants do photosynthesis, respiration, or both? Both. Because without the process of respiration, there is no point in making a whole bunch of glucose. And I think we talked about this before, and I kind of left you with that question. What happens to the glucose? Okay? What happens? Oh, yeah. What happens to the glucose?
Reduced for energy.
It gets reduced for energy. Where? In the mitochondria, the powerhouse for the cell. So I want you guys to see the relationship between the process of photosynthesis and the process of respiration. So the products of photosynthesis become the reactants for respiration. And the products of respiration, carbon dioxide and water, become the reactants for photosynthesis. Now, here's our concern globally. Okay, globally, it takes at least one tree to be a sink for one human's carbon dioxide produced. Okay? We don't have that many trees on the planet to take care of that. So what's the other major sink carbon dioxide absorber on our planet? Okay, so we got plants. But where else? Where is the majority of the carbon dioxide grabbed and trapped? Water. What in the water? Just the water itself? The what? The plankton. The plankton. The justinial plankton. We have two types. Do you know what plankton is? Okay, plankton is kind of a catch-all term for anything that floats in the ocean. Okay? It doesn't swim and move itself. It's just basically passively carried by the ocean. And we have two types of plankton. We have zooplankton, which are animals. Okay? Z-O-O, like zoo, animals. Zooplankton and phytoplankton. Which of those? Phytoplankton, because phyto means...
Like dog.
Okay? Not dog, not Fido, phyto. Phytoplankton are the photosynthetic plankton. Very funny, Nathan. Dog. Okay. Phytoplankton, not phytoplankton. Funny. And so they are absorbing carbon dioxide and doing photosynthesis. And they live in the top few feet of the ocean because that's as far as the sunlight will travel. Actually, sunlight goes about 100 feet down, but those phytoplankton are living in the top of the ocean. So that's why changes in global ocean temperatures can alter the population of our phytoplankton. And what's the base of the food web? on our planet? In general term, any plant. Plants are the basis of the food chain. What's the engine that's driving everything on our planet? The sun. So we're going to have the sun continue to shine, but if we lose those primary producers, if their populations change because of a change in ocean temperatures, then we lose our major sink for carbon dioxide on our planet, and we're not sure what the tipping point is. We're not quite sure how much they can continue to absorb. So as our global carbon dioxide emissions increase because we're burning fossil fuels, what are fossil fuels? Dead plants. Oils and coal comes from plants that were compacted that grew in the time of the dinosaurs millions of years ago. And over time, where did those plants come from? Where did they get their energy? From the sun. And so you have carbohydrates and carbon compounds trapped. So when we burn fossil fuels, we release carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Extra CO2 in the atmosphere acts as creates like a greenhouse and will cause the earth to warm up. We're not sure how much we can take. Okay. So when we burn those fossil fuels, why do we get energy from burning a fossil fuel? What are we doing? We're breaking the bonds, exactly. Okay? Fossil fuels don't release energy as ATP. They release energy as heat, okay, and light in a combustion reaction. Our cells, however, don't burn fossil fuels. They burn glucose, and the whole purpose of burning glucose is to make this molecule ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Okay? It is made up of an adenine, a ribose sugar, and 3 phosphate groups. Where is the energy located in this molecule? In the phosphate groups. And how do you release the energy from the phosphate groups? You got to break those bonds. So if you break one bond, you don't have ATP anymore. You have what? ADP plus some energy. Good. So we consider ATP to be like a rechargeable battery because we can take off and glue on back and forth this phosphate group. Where does this happen in the cell? Okay, let me rephrase that. I heard that. Yawning answer. Where do we put on the phosphates? Where do we recycle ATP to make? Where do we take ADP, glue on the phosphate, and release ATP? Where does that happen? In the mitochondria. Those are our cellular respiration reactions. Where in the cell are we constantly pulling ATPs off, though? Well, let me leave you with that question. Where are we pulling? So you guys just told me that we are taking and we're going ADP to ATP in the mitochondria. And I'm asking you, where do we go from here to here? And I'm going to leave you with that thought, and maybe it'll become a little bit more clear as we move along. We also have another energy storage molecule, okay, NADPH. And NADPH stores that extra proton there, okay? And it's also part of a redox reaction. Do you remember reading about this?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, oxidation and reduction reactions, redox. Okay? All of these photosynthetic processes, the processes that involve NADPH, are all redox reactions. When you add a proton, you add an electron, you're reducing, and when you pull the electron off, you're oxidizing. Sunlight. This is why we see certain colors. The only part of the spectrum that we can actually visualize Okay, our Roy G. Biv. Do you know that little Roy G. Biv? Okay, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. That helps you learn the names. The shortest wavelength of light and the highest energy are the violet. Beyond ultraviolet is ultraviolet. Those are the wavelengths of light that give you skin cancer. They're high enough energy to go through your cell membranes, through the nuclear membrane, and damage the DNA inside of your cells. Okay? So when you put on sunscreen, you're putting on a chemical that acts as a UV blocker. So when we go up here on the spectrum, ultraviolet, higher energy. Higher energy than ultraviolet are X-rays. You know what we use X-rays for, right? You lay down on a table or you stand in front of a screen. A machine sends X-ray radiation through your body. And guess what? It passes through soft tissue, but it does not pass through bone. And so the X-rays that pass through our body then are projected onto a piece of film that's standing behind you, or you're laying on top of it, and an image is created by what can pass through your tissues and what cannot. Do you want to get a lot of X-rays? No, because again, that's radiation passing through your tissues, and if it hits your DNA molecules, it can cause mutations in your DNA. So how bad is it? Well, very bad. That's why when you go get your X-rays on your face for your you guys, ladies and gentlemen, settle down. When you go get X-rays on your teeth at the dentist's office, what do? They lay that heavy lead pad over your chest and all the way down to the middle of your thighs. Why all the way down to the middle of your thighs? Vital organs are up in your chest. Why all the way down to your thighs?
Down there.
What important stuff is down there? Your reproductive organs, your genitals, your future children, ladies and gentlemen. So it's the DNA. I know this is difficult to talk about. Someday you will have children. Do you want them to have 2 or 3 eyes? Okay? 3 is not better when it comes to eyes. Okay? I know, I'm too funny. We'll wait for you guys to quiet down. Shh. Okay, I'll wait for you guys to quiet down. So, by protecting your gonads specifically, your ovaries and your testes, your reproductive DNA needs to be protected. The DNA that you're going to pass on to your offspring. We get skin cancer when the DNA in our skin gets exposed to too much radiation. You pass on genetic mutations to your offspring if your eggs and your sperm gets exposed. Beyond X-rays, we've got gamma rays. Gamma radiation comes from space. It's bombarding us right now, coming through this building, and it actually goes several feet through into the ground. Gamma radiation is thought to be one of the mutational factors that's resulted in just random mutations of DNA that's resulted in evolution. When we go on this side, we've got infrared. This is, you've seen infrared cameras and things like that, night vision goggles, where they're looking, they're sensitive to these lower energy. This is heat, okay? A heat-seeking missile is going to look for infrared radiation being given off and look for the warmest object and go and hit that. Microwaves, we're familiar with those. Those make molecules vibrate. When molecules vibrate at a greater rate, they're going to generate heat. And so microwaves work by making water molecules vibrate in your food, and it gets them hot. That's why your food gets hot. And if you overcook things in the microwave, they just dry up. And you have to have things with some moisture when you cook in the microwave. And then radio waves, that's for transmission of information. So it's only this frequency here. Now, the color that we see on an object is actually the color that is being reflected back at us. So the chlorophyll in our plant cells is green because it is absorbing all of the wavelengths of light except for the green. So on this graph here, you can see that chlorophyll A and B do not absorb exactly the same wavelengths of light. They absorb different wavelengths of light. And when you see that the estimated absorption percentage is now down near 0, if the light is not being absorbed, it's either being transmitted or reflected. And the color that we see of an object is the color of light that is being reflected back at us. Okay. So here are some examples. Do you see, what would be the advantage of having two different types of chlorophyll molecules? What's the advantage of having two different types of chlorophyll molecules? Okay, so absorption of slightly different wavelengths of light. That's your advantage. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to finish my lecture on all of this PowerPoint. I will post it to School Loop. You'll see separate lectures, okay? And I'll call them 1, 2, and 3, for example. All right, you guys. Quiz tomorrow. Quest.